Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are a subscriber, one of the lucky 15, hi, my name is Jo and I'm here to be the friendly face of blood cancer, which sounds really shit when you think about it. Specifically, the friendly face of chronic blood cancer, specifically chronic myeloid leukemia, as that is the bad boy that I have been dealt. I was diagnosed back in August of 2022, properly diagnosed. I had self-diagnosed myself with leukemia twice before. So one could really argue that I manifested leukemia. I think that if they did argue that, they'd be a little bit crazy, but there is a solid case to be made. I first diagnosed myself with leukemia when I was, I don't know, 24. And I had this random bruise appear on my arm. It was like a little purple pin pricks. So I Googled it, and Google told me, Dr. Google no less, told me it was something called purpura, I think. And then I Googled more and found out that purpura was a symptom of leukemia. So naturally concluded that I had leukemia and my life was over. I went to my doctor sent me for a blood test, and the blood test came back as negative because there was nothing wrong with me, which is a key theme. It's a key theme throughout my many little hypochondriac moments. The second time I thought I had leukemia, a bruise came up on my chin. Now, I found a blog this time. It wasn't even Dr. Google, it was a blog. And I was going through the blog, and it was like this person talking about their experience, and they said about how they've been having headaches. I thought, oh my God, I've been having and then they said they were struggling with sleep and tiredness. I'm like, oh my God, I'm tired all the time. And then it talked about this unexplained bruising. I'm like, that's literally what I have on my face. And at the bottom, it concluded that they were all classic signs of alien abduction. And that was when I decided it was time to put the internet away and probably go see the doctor again. I didn't know. I didn't go see the doctor again. You know why? Because I realised that night that I'd been attacking a spot on my chin the day before, and the bruise was from where I had aggressively attacked that spot and given myself a bruise. Once again, nothing wrong with me. The third time when I actually did have leukemia, I was flying back from Amsterdam, and when I got back, within, I don't know, 2 or 3 days, I had this massive, and I nearly swore then, it's not YouTube friendly. I had this massive bruise appear on my thigh. It was huge, and I'm a big girl, I've got big thighs, and I'm telling you, it was a big bruise. Lasted for ages. It was huge. It's the biggest bruise, second biggest bruise I've ever had in my life. It was weird. Called the doctor after about 2 weeks because it still hadn't gone. Doctor was like, yeah, it's not really that big a deal. Let us know if you get more bruises. And it's like they knew, they could foresee, because pretty much after that conversation, I just started getting all these bruises all over my legs. They were about yay big. They were bright white in the middle and rock solid. You could knock on them like a door, but the outside was a really dark ring, and they were almost perfectly circular. Kept popping up on my legs, and I'm like, oh my God, this is it. I'm definitely dying this time. So I went to my sister, told my sister about it. My sister flicked me, waited, and then went, no bruise, you're fine. Spoilers, wasn't. Then I told my good friends at work, and they were like, there's always something wrong with you. I'm sure you're fine. Spoilers, I wasn't. I eventually went to the doctor about all the bruising, and the doctor said they don't look like leukemia bruises because I asked. And then, I don't know, 2 days later, I had a blood test. And 2 days after that, I was woken up at 5 a.m. by a doctor outside banging on my door. He had been dispatched from the hospital to check on me because my white cell count was so high they thought I could be dead. Wasn't dead. He gave me a little check over, blood test, temperature, all that jazz, sent me to the hospital. And a very nice doctor was like, I have news. It's not great news, but it could be a lot worse. You do have cancer. My immediate reaction, oh my God, I'm dying. And I said to her, does that mean I'm dying? And she went, no. Now, number one, my question was perfectly reasonable. I had just been told I had cancer. I'm sorry if I thought I was dying for a minute there. Secondly, right, fine, fair enough. I was probably being a bit dramatic, but it's cancer. Like, if you're going to be dramatic about anything, it's going to be bloody cancer. Anyway, diagnosed, had a bone marrow biopsy. I know there's a lot of fear about bone marrow biopsies. I'll probably talk about it again at some point, but just for the purposes of this little introductory video, it didn't hurt. It felt weird. Didn't hurt. They numb you. Like they really numb you. They cram you with like that local anesthetic. You don't feel a thing. Well, that's not technically true. You feel pressure, like you feel the scraping because it is scraping inside your bones. Um, you feel that, but it doesn't hurt. It's just weird and uncomfortable. But it did give me the number one biggest bruise in my life. Now, obviously, I have a fat ass. I am a fat lady. You can imagine my ass is it's rather large and round. It was literally one entire butt cheek and then around the front. Yeah, right. You're visualizing. It's the biggest bruise I've ever had in my life. Biggest bruise. I'd put pictures on here, but I don't think that they would pass through the YouTube, I don't know, age policy. I don't know how YouTube works. I've genuinely got absolutely no idea. I watched YouTube. I'm not on YouTube. So that's the story of how I sort of maybe possibly manifested leukemia. Why am I here? Well, new patients are in for a little bit of a bumpy ride. That's it. It's no deeper than that. Mainly because people have a lot of assumptions about cancer, and I understand that because I had all of those same assumptions. And it wasn't until I came to realize that my experience of cancer was going to be very different to anything I could possibly have imagined that I thought, holy shit, why don't more people know about this? It's not it's not coming from a bad place. It's not one of the things I'm always conscious about is that it sounds like I'm bragging. I'm not bragging. I have cancer. Like regardless of how bad it is, it's still cancer. And even in that, there's a lot of feelings that come up. So since diagnosed, I've been embarrassed about having cancer. I've been ashamed of having cancer because I don't feel like I've suffered enough. I've felt lucky about having cancer, and that's a whirlwind of emotion. I've been absolutely terrified. I've been too scared to talk to anyone. It's been an absolute roller coaster. But I'm fortunate enough that 4 years later, I'm actually doing okay. Now, that's not to say my journey has been easy. I failed to respond to the first medication. The second gave me pulmonary hypertension. Yay! And the third one, I have no idea if it's working. My review is in a couple of weeks. So there's a lot of experience that I can speak to because I've gone through the you're a slow responder, you're not responding. I've gone through the your heart's about to explode, we need to change your meds. And I'm still here. And I think I have not wisdom because that makes me sound like a tool, but I think I have experience that I can share that might maybe help someone who's new or scared about this journey. Because although my ride hasn't been easy, in the time I've had cancer, I've got married. I spent 2 weeks in the Mauritius. I've gone traipsing around Rome. That was long. That was long. I've been traipsing around Rome. I've had holidays. My friends have got married, and I've gotten drunk at dances at their weddings. There's a photo of me standing on a bench at Bongo Bingo because I was absolutely plastered on gin. These are all things that I've done with cancer. And I think when you're newly diagnosed with something like chronic cancer, like chronic myeloid leukemia, that what you expect cancer to be is actually very different from what cancer is, at least in that context. And I want people to see that. I want people to know that. I want people to know that there's a cancer out there that isn't terminal, but it is incurable. And I want to talk about what that means, how it feels. And if it resonates with you, fantastic. If it doesn't, that's okay too. I'm not here to tell you how you should respond to cancer or how you should feel about cancer. It's your cancer. You do you. I'm just here to share my experience. And it will be brutally honest because that's just how I am. It will be direct, hopefully sympathetic, but honest. That's the key word. It's going to be honest. So if that's something that you're up for, subscribe. If it's not, don't. Sometimes there will be cats in the cattery. Today, obviously, they've decided to abandon me because they knew I was getting the camera out. Clearly, camera shy. But yeah, that's me.